Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Stitious Podcast. You are joined yet again by your host, Tash.
And your co-host, Connor.
And today we're going to be talking about unicorns.
Love them. Horses with the little horn on.
Oh, yes, good old horned horses. So, as usual, we begin by asking Connor, unicorns, believer or non-believer?
Okay, I don't believe in, like, unicorns as, like, magical creatures and stuff, right?
Okay.
But I do believe, like, there could have been a horned horse that existed whose horn healed people when they took it. Because people...
Wait, stop. I don't believe in unicorns being magic, but I believe the horns healed people when they touched it.
No.
Magic.
Not when they touched them. But I feel like they went extinct. They were like animals that existed.
Yeah.
And then because there was something like, from what I remember, unicorns' horns had healing properties. And I feel like with rhinos, it probably got to the point where we've killed all the unicorns. They were just regular horses whose horns had like probably medicinal properties that helped people. And we just killed them all.
Okay.
But I don't see it because I always thought unicorns were magic. Like,
yeah.
Shooting lasers out of the horns and stuff like this. That's my ideas of unicorns.
Okay. So you are not a believer of the traditional magical unicorn, but you think they may have existed in the past but went extinct.
Yes.
Okay.
Just regular. Yeah, just like a regular animal.
Yeah.
That have been murdered and extinct. Like a lot of animals who've murdered and extinct over the years.
Humans, everybody.
What about you? Do you believe in
No,
it?
I don't.
Not even as animals that existed that were extinct.
I think that maybe one, in that sense, it wasn't a unicorn. It was maybe just like some type of like cow that looked much like a horse, a skinny cow. That one horn was, it didn't grow the other horns properly because people were like, whoa, it's magic because they'd never seen anything like it. Maybe that's what happened.
So a cow.
A skinny cow. Pretty skinny cow. I mean, I don't know enough about unicorns. Maybe it's just my ignorance, but in my head, when I picture unicorn, I'm picturing like My Little Pony.
See, are My Little Ponies unicorns? Because they're called ponies. I also thought this as well. I didn't actually look into it. I forgot. But I know that in the My Little Pony universe, they're magical. But do they have horns?
They do have horns. They have horns and... Wait a minute. This might be a Mandela effect. Because in my head, they have horns and little hair, and it's all like rainbowy, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh my God, are they unicorns or are they ponies?
No, they're unicorns.
Wait, no.
That one has a horn.
That one says that the purple one has a horn. So is it a unicorn or is it a pony?
A ponycorn. So,
but
okay, yes. So they are...
Yeah, that's what I pictured. Like the purple one specifically. When people are like ponies, I'm like, the purple one, what is it called? There's a white one
Twilight
called
Sparkle?
Twilight Sparkle.
Great name.
Yeah.
Also a stripper name. Twilight. No, welcome to the stage. Twilight Sparkle.
Don't ruin things for the kids.
You're about to be your mind is...
If you're going to bring up bronies, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. We're not here to discuss bronies. We're here to talk about unicorns and move on with our lives. I don't even want to get into it. I was hoping to avoid talking about it because I was like, the fact that I brought up My Little Pony is gonna... But you didn't mention it, so I thought you didn't know about it. So I was like, I'm not going to ruin your life.
I found out about it through Bob's Burgers. Because they have like the
convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, they exist and they're out there.
Hats off to you, you know?
I'm not going to be like a hater because you know what? If you want to be into that, be into that. As long as you're not weird about it. You know exactly what I mean when I say weird about it. As long as you're not weird about it, we're cool. You can do what you want to do. Don't involve me though. That's all I'm going to say on that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So let's jump back to unicorns.
Yeah,
let's
anyway.
move away from My Little Pony and go ahead to unicorn.
Yeah, no, I never, being in Zim, unicorns were never brought up, like ever. I don't think, when I was a kid at least, never. They were not really a part of our culture at all. It was only when I moved here that I started to like see, but because I never got the appeal of it, or I was maybe a bit older, I just was not really interested. So yeah, that's why I'm just like, I don't think about unicorns.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Again, like with many myths and stuff, I don't remember where I first heard about it. Especially unicorns. Unicorns are just so in your face these days. Just everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Like,
but is that capitalism? Kids love, like my little sister for Christmas literally got like one of these My Little Pony toys.
The robot unicorn thing.
Yeah. And I was just like, This is very random, but okay. She was having a good time. But yeah, I don't know. Well, that's what you're here for, isn't it? Because, if you've been listening, which you should have been, you know that, we do a little bit of research. By we, mainly your main man, Connor, over here. And research that should be taken very lightly because we are not researchers of any form, nor are we scientists.
I have a degree, not in research.
But this is just something to try and see different perspectives. And at the end, we'll discuss whether or not our opinions have been changed or they've stayed the same and why. So let's get on into it.
The first time I found a reference to unicorns, the Bible, the great book.
The Bible?
The Bible.
Okay.
So apparently the unicorn was the first animal to be named by Adam. Because, when Adam was in Eden, it sounds weird. Adam, Eve.
The garden.
Yes, yeah. Adam, Eve, Eden.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. Switch it up a little bit. It's...
Peter Parker?
Again, but that was named by a person, not God. So let's have a bit more spice. Let's throw around something else, It's all too similar.
Okay.
I get it.
Eden.
But yeah, so when Adam was put into Eden, he was told he can name anything that was there. So he started pointing at things and naming things.
Yeah.
And apparently one of the first things he pointed at and named was a unicorn.
Okay.
Which, a great name. Great.
Unicorn.
Unicorn.
Unique horn.
Unique horn. He said, oh my God, that's a unique
That's a unique horn. I'm going to call it the unicorn.
Yeah, and apparently because he named it, that's what gave it its magical abilities, because it was the first thing to be named, and therefore it became special in some way.
That's kind of weird, because, what about everything else that he'd been naming that wasn't, an animal?
The first thing is the best. Everything else will lose.
Bye.
So yeah, in case you didn't know what unicorns actually look like, they basically look like horses, and they have a horn on their head, normally a spiral that points out, and it's said that the horn has magical abilities that are able to heal people.
A lot of them are white, aren't they?
Yeah, it's they're supposed to be a symbol of purity as well.
Racism strikes again. Why is white the symbol of purity? Where did it start to be white purity? I don't understand. Because really, is it because the color white is so easy to spoil?
Probably something like that. Because you get a speck of something.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, you can see that.
Weird.
But yeah, so he named all the animals. And then it's also said, but this wasn't actually in the Bible. This was a theory or something someone came up with.
Okay.
And essentially, the reason unicorns aren't around today is because they didn't make it past the flood. So the special animal, the first animal ever to be named, was not included on the list to be allowed to go onto the ark.
In my understanding of the whole ark thing, right, was that it was Noah's. He was the captain.
Yeah,
right?
He had the staff that God gave him, and then him lifting the staff or something.
Yeah.
Brought all the animals to him and then boarded the ship.
So you're telling me unicorns were too busy. They were doing some other things. They were I know they said not to bring any luggage, but this horn maintenance is crazy. We got to pack our supplies, and then they just didn't make it to the boat. That's mad.
They didn't make it to a vote, or weren't invited, or got a missed call.
Damn.
It was one of those.
Damn.
But it is said that when they drowned, they became narwhals. The giant whales with the giant horn.
Oh, yeah.
So it was we ain't dead. We evolved. Well, in God's eyes, we did not evolve. God changed us. And we just became narwhals because evolution does not exist.
You could say it was part of God's plan all along for them never to make it on that boat.
Could you?
Get an amen?
No, you cannot.
You're not gonna...
Although, there's another thing. So they were first written about in the Bible.
Uh-huh.
But apparently the translation is wrong. So instead of being unicorn, the translation is supposed to be wild ox. It was changed. So a unicorn, well, what they could have been referring to as a unicorn is either a wild ox or a rhinoceros. I don't know how you change it into a new word, unicorn, because surely no one had ever said the word unicorn before in their life. And then someone read it and was like, yeah, it says unicorn.
This is one of my biggest issues with the idea of the Bible. I'm not saying I think about this all the time or anything. I'm just saying is that there's been so many instances where it's been translated wrong.
Yeah.
So many instances. And it's because it went from like one language being passed out to a different language and different people translating it. And also then you've got like different versions of it as well, and things being published and some things not being published, and some people believe in one bit and some people not believing the other. It becomes so easy to just change the Bible to suit what you want it to suit.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, how am I supposed to believe in that when you're telling me it's the word of God
Translated
it's
by
been translated by
humans.
humans? Yeah, I'm like, well, then clearly people are going to shift things and change things to be what they want. Like how you go and go from rhinoceros to unicorn.
It's a big
Winger.
It's a very big leap.
Where I don't speak Hebrew, but come on, everybody. Someone who does speak Hebrew, please confirm. Is it an easy thing to like mistake or what?
It's like when they put Jeebus in the Bible instead of Jesus.
They did not, did they?
Yes. Oh my, that's where the word Jeebus comes from, where everyone's like, praise Jeebus. Is it because there was a misprint in like a Bible and like a bunch of them went out with the word Jeebus instead of Jesus?
Oh my goodness. You see stuff like this? Like, I don't know, man. I'm too old.
Imagine like there's like an apocalypse, right? And then in the future they get a Bible and it's the only one with Jeebus in it, so they're just like, oh my god, Jeebus.
Jeebus.
And then Jeebus becomes like just the norm.
Oh my god. Anyway, unicorn.
So yeah, unicorns' horns had healing abilities. It said that the horn, anything it touches, so if it like touched water, the water would be pure and you could drink it without any problems.
Wow.
And it got to the point where, again, this is why I think they died from extinction.
Yeah.
People would take the horns to use to drink out of, so then that way they would know they haven't been poisoned. So not all, but a lot of kings would search for unicorn horns or unicorn horn powder or whatever, so that they could put it in their drink to make sure they haven't been poisoned and survive.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
You could just have like a pet unicorn and then every time you need to drink something, just dunk everyone in there and then leave them be. They're like, we're going to shave. We're going to take the horn. This is why we can't have anything.
Because they're supposed to be like really nice creatures. Well, okay, some of the laws are that they're really nice creatures and they'd look out for people. Basically, what would happen is hunters, because apparently unicorns love virgins, so they would get a virgin, put it in the woods.
Put the virgin in the woods.
Put them in the woods and wait for a unicorn to approach them. Apparently, they'd just naturally be drawn to them and just see them as, I don't know, comfort. They would like sit down next to them and put their head on their lap. So there's like stories where this has happened, and then the unicorns seem that because mostly it's been women.
I was just about to say that, like, I've never heard them be like, oh, we need to sacrifice the virgin, and they bring a man.
Yes.
It's always a woman. And I'm like, why are you like, oh, virgin, let's get a woman who's a virgin rather than like a man every time? I'm like, what is going on?
You say that, but on the TV show Legends of Tomorrow, there's a unicorn in one of the seasons, and they get the guy to come and check the unicorn, and apparently the unicorn's a little evil, and it bites off his nipple. I can't remember exactly how it happened, but Legends of Tomorrow is wild.
Just the boy said, a little evil bites off his nipple. Just a little bit of evil.
I mean, it didn't kill him.
It's tiny evil.
Just
a little snack.
Little
you know?
nip. Basically, they would get a virgin, man or woman, mostly women, and they would capture the unicorn, kill him, and then sell the horn off for their business, you know?
So sad.
It is sad.
But imagine, like, being a virgin minding your business, right?
Yeah. People
back in the day, I mean, people now, really, would be on your ass all the time. Hey, we need a virgin to sacrifice. You're coming with us, bud? Hey, we need to attract a unicorn. You're coming with us, bud? I'm sure they got like no break. People probably started lying that they weren't virgin just to like just take a nap.
I just want to sleep, man.
Stop taking me to these weird places, please. Thanks a lot, Bible.
But yeah, and another reason why unicorns could have existed, Greeks. Apparently, the Greeks thought they were real. They were convinced. It's mentioned in like history books, and they haven't made like any stories, like the mythical stories, you know, of like Sidious and Medusas and all this. Yeah. They didn't include unicorns in any of those stories. So there's accounts of unicorns in the national history books because they believed that they were real. So they didn't create stories of them because they didn't have to. They thought they were real, so they could have been real.
Maybe. What did they think they look like?
Well, they actually believe they look like unicorns, like horses with horns. Yeah. Just,
Yeah?
Although there's so many different people describing unicorns later on. They don't sound like unicorns at all.
Oh my God, yeah, let me tell me about those ones, because right now all I've just been picturing is what is it?
The classic horse with the horn.
The Little My Pony one. Sparkle, Rainbow Sparkle.
Rainbow Sparkle. So Marco Polo, you know him, he invented the game.
Polo.
That exact game.
Yeah.
So Marco Polo described them as scarily smaller than elephants. They have the hair of a buffalo and feet like an elephant's. They have a single large black horn in the middle of their forehead, a head like a wild boar. They spend their time by preference wallowing in mud and slime.
It's like Shrek.
But they are very ugly brutes to look at. They are not all such as we describe them when we relate that they let themselves be captured by virgins, but clean contrary to our notions.
Wow.
So, like, describing all that,
That's gross.
what do you picture? Feet of an elephant, face of a boar. What's the first thing that kind of comes to mind?
A rhino.
Yeah, exactly. It says it's clear that Marco Polo was describing a rhinoceros.
Had they not seen a rhino before?
Probably not. They didn't have zoos back in the day. You'd have to go to the actual continent, the country where they would reside.
I mean, yeah, in that case, then yeah, he wasn't impressed, clearly. He sounded pissed, actually. He's like, fuck you guys. I went there being like, this is everything that I'm going to see. It's going to be a live stream. Instead, I see this little scrungy thing wallowing in the mud, ugly as hell, going around its time. I'm surprised he survived.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
be fair.
I don't know if rhinos are like dangerous. They just seem very dangerous.
Well, they kind of are. Kind of mind their business.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Unless, you go bother them.
They're respectful.
But if that baby charges at you, oof, you're going to be dead.
Dead. Trampled.
Weirdly enough, hippos are like more dangerous than rhinos.
Hippos are weirdly scary. You see that like they could gobble you up in one.
Yeah, hippos are kind of assholes. They're menaces to society.
Who hurt you? What happened to
being
you?
for real, like everyone's always like, what? Hippos are like on a kill mission. They will come after you. They don't even care that you're minding your business. They're coming for you.
They gotta eat, gotta eat.
Hippos gotta eat. And they're really fast as well.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, right?
Imagine a hippo just sprinting at you, man.
That's terrifying. I think I would just die of shock. I think my main instinct in life is just to die of shock. Well, that's how I hope I'd react in a situation. I hope I would just die of shock. Not like...
Oh no, thank God.
People are like, oh, what would you do in this scenario if... Mate, what do you want to do? Like, people are like, oh, what would you do if you turned around and a lion was chasing after you? I'm not outrunning a lion. Like, who do you think I am? I'm not Usain Bolt. I can't run for anything. I'm dying, obviously. So, like, before it, drags me and does all these things, I would want to die of shock before it comes near me. That way, it's done the job for it. It can just drag me away at that point. But
I'm afraid you only have two options, fight or flight. It's one or the other. One or the other. There's no fight, flight, or die of shock. It's not on the list.
Do you telling me if you're in the Last of Us world and you hear that, what do you think you're going to do in that situation? Imagine you don't have any weapons on you. You're just like out in the open on a field. You're going to be running for how long? Forever? I know what's coming. I'll run for as long as I can. But as soon as I turn around and see it right there, please die of shock.
I'm surprised no one's died from The Last of Us from a belly grumble. You know what I mean?
They probably have.
They wouldn't have
but
food.
They wouldn't have a story to tell.
And jumping on unicorns being rhinoceroses, there's also unicorns that are depicted as badass warriors who take names and just kill you.
Who thought of this? Was it Americans?
I don't know. It was Eastern ones are supposed to be depicted as not being able to hurt a fly. They're just supposed to be so benevolent that they wouldn't even step on an insect.
Wow.
But I don't know where the idea of the unicorn being savages comes from. Because I don't know if you know this, unicorns are the national animal of Scotland. And the reason they chose it is because it's both a kind animal and a ferocious fighter.
Where have they fought?
I don't know. I generally...
Did I miss something? I'm so confused.
So the unicorn is best known as the symbol of Scotland. Unicorn was chosen because it was seen as a proud and haughty beast which would rather die than be captured, just as Scots would fight to remain sovereign and unconquered.
I mean, you can't be mad at that.
That is a really good animal to have as well.
And it makes sense to the Scottish people because the Scots I've met in real life are like very nice, very lovely people. But then also like if you get on the wrong side of them, I feel like they would be very, you know.
I feel the same with Australians. I bet they seem so nice. But then when it comes to like fight or flight,
they're fighting.
You go down.
You. They will fight you. And you know what? I got to respect that because it just means that I just have to be on the right side of you always. And that's fine. Whereas English people are ready to fight you regardless of anything. You would literally look at someone the wrong way and they're like, got a problem? What are you looking at?
What are you looking at?
I'm like, shut up, dude. I'm not even looking at you. Don't, like, get over yourself, okay? Sorry, it's got triggered there. I literally had the exact interaction happen to me once where I was waiting for my taxi after work because it was really late. And then I ordered, like, an Uber. And because I was on, like, a main road, you know, it can't turn into where I work because it's a dead end and it's one way. So I was looking, you know, to see where the thing's coming so I can recognize the license plate. And then there was this couple who was like having an argument or something and they were standing there, you know, he was being like a real dick. He's like, really yelling at her. And she seemed a bit like, you know, she's like, oh, you know, you're always like this, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's no hands being thrown or anything. So I'm going to mind my business. I wasn't even like, I had headphones and I wasn't even like, you could just tell visually that, you know, they're having a thing. So my taxi's like, it's coming soon. So I'm like looking out for it. And I guess I was just stood so still or whatever. And he got really weird. He's like, he turns to me and then he just starts like shouting. And I'm like, what? Oh my God, is he talking to me? What's going on? And then I take my headphone off. I'm like, sorry. And he's like, I said, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? Are you looking at me? You need to mind your own business. And just as he's saying that, my taxi pulls up and he looks like an idiot because it literally pulls up. And then I go in the car and I was like, I wasn't looking at you, by the way. I don't care what you guys are talking about. I was waiting for my taxi. And he looked so embarrassed. I've never seen, it was just like, don't embarrass yourself. Like, Jesus Christ, get over yourself. Anyway,
that's the British people.
That's the British people. That's what it's like here. They would just bite your head off. They're animals, definitely not unicorns.
Not even ferocious beasts. They're like mosquitoes.
Angry, yeah. Mosquitoes.
Here. I mean, occasionally they do like a little nip. It's annoying.
It's very annoying.
It's not going to do any less than
you're like, just shut up. Apart from London, I don't go there.
Yeah, London.
Yeah.
London.
We don't go there.
You just get stabbed. Off the train stabbed.
We don't go there. We mind our business over here where we are.
Unicorns.
Yeah, fighters. I mean, with that big horn.
Do some damage.
Hell yeah. But would they stab you and then it heals you also?
I guess they get to choose if it heals you, maybe. Because it mostly heals you from like poison and stuff. I don't think it like completely heals you. Like wounds.
Damn.
Honestly, I don't know. It doesn't say. It just says it has healing properties. But it was specifically used for poisons.
Do you know what? Right now, while we're talking about this, I'm getting flashbacks of like something I watched where a unicorn... Supernatural. Remember the Supernatural episode with the fairy tale things coming to life? And there was the unicorn that killed someone.
Oh
my God.
I don't remember that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, someone got killed by a unicorn. And it was bad. Yeah, it was really like it just rammed into them. Like,
I mean,
it kicked them. And then, like, just rammed into them.
I mean, horses themselves are scary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're big-ass creatures. I'm not afraid to say I'm scared of horses.
I got kicked by a horse.
And you still live to tell me.
I'm here. I'm here.
But no, I'm still, like, scared of horses from when I was, like, in Wales on holiday when I was, like, really young. Mm. A little girl, I want to say, like, she's, like, 5 or 6. She got thrown off this giant horse. She fell on the ground. And then the horse started to like stamp on her.
Ooh.
Shit was, I don't know, I'm still scarred from that. Shit
what
was so
did you do to the horse?
She was just sitting on the horse. I don't know what the context was because it wasn't like a bunch of horses. It was just the one.
Yeah.
She was sitting on it. And then all of a sudden it was like, she fell back. And then, bam.
Damn. It must have been spooked by something and it just didn't like. That's so sad. That's scary.
Very.
Oof. I'll stick to walking. Thank you very much.
So now imagine that. And then imagine a horn on its head.
Oh.
Rams you.
When I used to live in Zim and like we lived at my grandma's farm, one of the things that used to scare me the most was the horns on the cows Because like a lot of the ones we had didn't have the horns. I had my cow, and it was like pretty small when we got it, but as it grew, you saw it like
Bigger.
it started like developing horns, which I didn't expect it to. So when I saw it, I would like go and like, touch it and stuff. And it kind of got really familiar with me because I would like feed it more than any of the other ones. And I would just go with it a lot and talk to it. And I would like feel the horns, like it would let me touch the horns as they were coming in. And like, oh my God, they got huge. Probably like as big as my arms now as an adult. Like that big.
Damn.
And they were strong because I would hold it, right? And that baby was thick. So I just thought in my head, I was like, could you imagine this thing just like running towards you and smacking? You're gone.
They're gone.
You can't even do anything about that at that point.
Yeah, that's why I'm always like shocked where, like in Spain,
Yeah.
they do the running with the balls. Bruh, it seems exciting, but no, not for me. Not for me. I guess your adrenaline gets going. One hit, I feel like you're out, man. I feel like you're out.
Not for me.
Mainly the unicorns we've been talking about have been the Western ones.
Yeah.
The ones you see in woods and stuff around. I say you see. Do you?
We don't know.
You tell me.
If you have seen one, call the hotline.
So let's talk about some from Eastern Europe. Eastern
Like how you
countries.
said, the West. And correct. Eastern Europe?
No, the ones we have been talking about from the West.
Right.
The ones we're about to talk about are the ones from the East. So like China, Japan, Thailand, Korea, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So these look nothing like unicorns. They do not look like a horse, but they do have a horn. So the one in China is called the gilin,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more like a hybrid animal that looks less like a unicorn and more like a chimera. So that's like the
Chimera.
chimera. So it's like the lion thing with like wings and stuff and all that. But so basically has the body of a deer, the head of a lion, green scales, and a long forward curved horn.
Can I get a picture? Whoa.
It's like a cross between a dragon and a horse.
That's amazing. Whoa. That just looks amazing. I'm not going to lie. That's better than what...
What a unicorn looks
Yeah.
like.
Wow. Oh, they've got... What's a Kirin?
So a Kirin, I think, is the one from Japan? Yeah, from the one from Japan. So the Kirin is more associated with a giraffe, apparently. Apparently they had really long necks. And that's why they're more associated with it. So it could have been that it was a giraffe people were seeing. But again, you never know. You have to be there. You got to be there.
So it's like back then, giraffes' necks weren't as long. Well, I don't know how back then this is, but giraffes' necks haven't always been this long.
Yeah,
It's evolution.
get
Or,
trees and
as
stuff.
you would say, it's just how the Lord made it.
They've changed. One day they woke up, they were different.
God says you're going to be different today. Oh, that's so funny. Oh.
So the Kirin, which is the unicorn of Japan, is similar to the Killin, but it's a bit smaller. So it has the deer-like body, an oxtail, backwards curving horns, became more horse-like over time, and is main creature with a deer's torso, an ox's tail, and horse's hooves. So it looks a bit more like an actual horse than it does a dragon lion thing.
I prefer the dragon one. It just looks...
I mean, yeah, look at that. It just looks beautiful.
See, that looks more magical to me than like a horse with a horn on it. Because, like, yeah.
And the Kirin kind of looks like a fox, sort of. I don't know, the hair there just makes it feel more fox-like.
It's very pretty.
It is.
Yeah,
It's the animal.
very pretty. And then the Keelan is just like,
That's
don't mess with me.
yeah, the Kirin is the one that is the ferocious beast
Yeah,
and kills you. But the Kirin is the
Here
one...
it's like, I'm
Where my
here.
versions at.
Where my virgins at? Oh, man.
And then the one from Thailand is a Gilin, which is they're also similar. Kilin
Yeah,
with a
very,
Q,
very similar.
a Girin with a K, and then a Gilin with a G. So the Gilin is thought to have the same appearance to that of like the dragon one. They are said to be benevolent to nature and those who do good, and kill those who do evil.
I would be alive.
They are seen as symbol of fertility, and some artwork depict them delivering babies. You gotta
I don't
admit,
know if I would want that to be delivering a baby. But...
that's pretty cool. Like either a stork or like a dragon unicorn comes and
That's
deliver your
true.
baby. You'll know your baby's gonna be a badass if it's
Yeah.
delivered by a dragon unicorn.
That's true.
Oh, well, how did your baby get here? Oh, stork.
Stool.
Stork. Oh, mine was by a Gillen, the dragon unicorn.
Oh, it could be the Kieran, the pretty one. The pretty deer one.
The pretty virgin deer one.
Pretty virgin deer. Hey.
Yeah, so like the Asian unicorn was told to be a gentle soul who could not even hurt a fly. Quite literally, unicorns were careful not to crush insects while walking. They did not eat fruits because of this life inside them. Their hooves barely touched the grass when they were running. It's pretty...
Yeah. Do you know how figs are made?
I saw that.
You
and
saw
it's
that?
horrible.
Yeah.
It makes me not want to eat a fig ever again.
It's awful. If you don't know,
don't look.
Google it.
If you like figs and you want to carry on eating figs for your life,
do it.
Don't Google it.
Do it.
It's not nice.
Do it.
It's not nice.
So I see why they're like, oh, but that's so lovely. That's just so lovely. But also you would die, wouldn't you, babe? Starvation. Hello. Because you know what else? What feels as well? Plants. They feel and they actually scream when you cut them. We just can't hear it.
Maybe they're just sustained off the earth from the sun.
From the sun?
Yeah, water. We just drink water and that's all they need. So there's microorganisms in the water. You can't. No. This is why it died. It just couldn't eat anything. It was like, oh my God, no.
This reminds me of Brendan Fraser when he's like, I'm just too sensitive.
Oh, from Bewitched.
Yeah, from Bewitched. And he's like, it's just look, it's so sensitive. That's literally what these creatures are.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So the African unicorn.
There's an African unicorn.
There's an African unicorn.
Right.
You not heard about it?
I didn't.
Fake African.
I am pretty African about it because I never heard of no. What is it called? Maybe.
So it is called an ababda.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah. That sounds more like Eastern or Western Africa. That's not me.
That's not my.
That's
Africa.
not me. So
the African unicorn is similar to the Eastern one, but has been depicted with one or two horns.
Ababda.
Ababda. It is said to be about the size of a donkey and the tail of a boar. Similar to the other unicorns, though, the horns are seen as having healing properties and being an antidote to poisons, and they are a symbol of fertility. Maybe that's why they're always attracted to virgins. They're like, you need to get some.
You need to get a baby.
You need to
need a baby inside of you.
Get yourself
right now.
a man or a woman and have babies.
Well, they seem to only like women. So, or everyone just wants to sacrifice female virgins.
It's easier.
Nah. It's easier. How?
Because the guy would just be like, yeah, totally had sex. Nailed it. When back in the day, men would keep women in their house and they wouldn't be able to leave. So
that's so they could have sex with other men.
Yeah.
I'm convinced to this day that men would be like, women stay, and then they'd go off do their thing. Their thing
hunting
being
trips.
Gay.
Their thing being gay.
They definitely were all hooking up back in the day.
Mm.
Particularly
Romans.
Americans. Oh. Well, yeah. Americans, majority of them, gay. Change my mind. You can't. Closeted, but gay nonetheless.
So far, unicorns, we know what they are. We know what they look like, but if they did, how did they come to exist other than the Bible? So if people say they've seen them,
well,
it's like, what have you seen? So yeah, rhinos.
Yeah.
Goats, apparently.
Goats, yeah, I see the goat one. Sense. I think the goat one. Because you can get goats with one horn, right? Yeah, you can get the goats with the one horn. So
narwhals, apparently. Because when they would die, apparently some of the horns would wash up onto shore. So they'd be like, a unicorn has died. This is a unicorn horn. Yeah. The eland is like a large antelope.
Okay.
So it's like a deer almost, but like more thin and faster. And then there was actually something called the Siberian unicorn, a creature that lived.
Like a real one?
A real one. An actual thing that existed. It was alive 29,000 years ago, apparently. It was a one-horned animal, closer to a rhino. It does have horse-like qualities, including similar tail, legs, ears, and bone structure. If the neck and legs were lengthened and the head slightly less round, it would look very much like a horse. On top of that, the fuzzy rhino, which was another name for it, so it was a Siberian unicorn or a fuzzy rhino, had a hump that allowed them to run long distances across the plains like horses, whereas modern rhinos can only slowly graze. Right?
Okay.
Although 29,000 years ago was a long time ago.
No, very long time ago.
Although maybe they didn't all die 29,000 years ago. But
Or they evolved, or God changed them, depending on what you think.
changed. There is a theory that all unicorns, not just African ones, were based on the Gemsbok, and apparently it makes sense on a lot of levels, according to some people.
Okay.
So the Gembok have very horse-like characteristics and a deer-like face. They're elusive animals. It would explain why in the East they are depicted as potentially having two horns versus just the one. And like all the myths, the horns have like healing properties. Apparently the Gemsbok horns have healing properties also. So it doesn't perfectly match it, but
Yeah.
it is a likely candidate.
Yeah. Okay.
Just, it's fair. But
No.
I'll show you a picture of what a Gemsbok looks like. And it looks nothing horse-like, if I'm being honest. It's basically a deer. You'll probably recognize the picture.
Oh, them.
Yeah, I don't see how you could confuse the... Oh my god,
You
yeah,
can
look at the horns on
You
that.
can find those in well, similar. I don't know if they're the same thing, but in Saudi in the
maybe?
desert. Well, they're like kind of went a bit like not extinct, but nearly. But you find similar creatures.
Yeah, because they got the spiral horn as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess you could, but if I was going off what I picture a unicorn to look like, and I saw this, I wouldn't be like, "That's a unicorn," you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't. They're really pretty though.
Yeah,
They're
they're quite
very like majestic. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I guess picture this though. You're walking through. It's hot. You don't have much water. You see one of those. Your mind maybe plays a little bit of tricks on you. It does seem kind of magical, doesn't it?
It does. Especially if you follow it, because it's going to like find water, and it just suddenly leads to water. Benevolent, kind. But yeah, I don't really see that. So I tried to look for actual sightings of unicorns. Just to see.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's been unicorn caves found.
Does that even mean?
Where do you
Where
think
they would live?
Where do you think unicorns live, Tash? In caves, of course. They didn't chill out in the plain. They made little houses.
Of course.
So apparently it was found in North Korea, of all places, in 2012.
Wow, recently.
10 years ago.
Yeah, that's recent.
12? Oh my God, 12 years ago.
That's
2024.
recent.
Yeah, it's fairly recent.
Yeah.
But yes, so they made a bizarre announcement that they discovered a unicorn cave. So they didn't just randomly decide to say, hey, it's a unicorn cave. Outside of it, in ancient Korean language, it said the word unicorn lair, written right in front of the dam.
North Korea, you've been pranked. As if the unicorns, what? Do you think they're carving it with their horns like, yes, unicorn lair?
Well, you can write it yourself. Do you know how you have signposts to places? Oh, here's the unicorn lair in case you were wondering. Come see our sites. Come to North Korea. We have the unicorn lair.
If they had a whole manhunt for mermaids when we did our mermaid episode, where they were like, we'll pay people for evidence, you're telling me that they wouldn't have been like, oh yeah, guess what? Unicorns exist and I know where their lair is. Unicorn lair. They're not Batman. They don't need a lair. What the hell?
But yeah, it turned out it wasn't actually a unicorn lair.
Wow, I'm shocked. What was it?
It turned out to be a Korean lair.
Oh, Corinne. Oh, wasn't that the same thing though? Except the Corinne's much prettier.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Look at that. Oh, majestic.
Did they find any in there?
None alive.
They found some dead.
It was just bones. Okay. Oh wait, no, that wasn't this one. Sorry, no.
Oh, okay.
It just had the writing on the outside.
So there was nothing inside.
Nothing inside.
Maybe someone discovered their land and they're like, oh my God, we need to run away now. Bye.
Maybe they're invisible. Maybe this is another magic ability that no one knew, because if something's invisible, how would you know?
I've just died of shock.
I've blown your mind. You heard it here first. Tasha's mind has been blown.
What did you even say?
They have died of shock.
What did you say?
Instead of fighting or running, they had died.
What did you say?
I said maybe they are invisible, and you wouldn't know if they were invisible because you can't see things that are invisible.
Anyway.
It's a perfect cry.
Anyways.
And then another unicorn cave was found in Germany.
Of course.
Ooh.
Germany.
So, among numerous finds of prehistoric bones in Germany, Harz Mountains, some were selected and reconstructed by the mayor, Otto von Guericke, as a unicorn in 1663. So this was a long time ago.
I'm joking.
But it was a fake.
Oh, of course it was a fake.
Apparently he just grabbed a bunch of bones and then tried to make it look like it was a unicorn, putting it together, where it just turned out to be like a woolly rhinoceros and a mammoth bones and with a horn of a narwhal, and they just put it together and jimmied it to make it look like a unicorn.
I gave you one chance, Germany, and you did it again.
That's strike two.
Don't say that. You can't say that. It's like, girl, ooh, okay. That was very fascinating. Thank you for all of that, by the way.
To be fair, there was more on unicorns than I expected going in.
I honestly didn't think there would be much at all. I thought it'd be like, unicorns, real? No.
End
of podcast. Thanks for listening. It's a podcast. But I didn't know there was a whole thing about it.
Yeah, because I expected to find more magical things. Because there's like an episode of The Middle.
Uh-huh.
And apparently they forgot to tell Sue that unicorns didn't exist. So as her science project, she did it about unicorns. And she cuts to a picture of her going like, these are unicorns. They live in clouds and eat rainbows. I was expecting to find stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, they produce... Because it's supposed to be another thing. From their horn, they can...
They're like fart unicorns.
Or they fart unicorns.
Something like that. I've heard that before.
I've heard that they're supposed to shoot rainbows from their horn, but I didn't find any of that when I was researching.
What would that do?
It spreads joy. Again, these are nice creatures. Maybe
joy, that's it. Like, what a waste of a magical ability, to be honest. Hey, what kind of magic would you like? I want to shoot rainbows out of my horn. Why? I don't know. Spread joy. Imagine someone's upset and someone just shoots a rainbow from their horn. I'm not gonna lie, that's not gonna put me in any better of a mood. I'd be like, oh, that's nice. Anyway, I'm still sad.
Oh my god. Yeah, apparently I read something that it was supposed to be one of the only mythical creature that was created or thought of that wasn't designed to murder us. But I feel like that can't be true because there's
Scotland.
Well, yeah, that too. But then there's like that creature with the Pegasus. I feel like that's not a murderer. That's just a flying horse.
Yeah, but it was meant to like fly people to battle, no?
Yeah, but again, it's not there killing people.
I don't know. I can think of many ways to use a Pegasus to kill people right now.
It's same with unicorn. You could be like, yes, got a sharp horn.
They can't even eat fruits because of the insects that live in them, Connor. Please, they're going through it. Oh my god, so funny. So,
Nice.
yeah. Okay, so we've learned about them. What is are you changed after, like, all the research?
I feel like that they never existed.
Yeah.
But I'm still, like, if someone was to say... Actually, no, because if they were extinct, we would find bones. We'd find dinosaur bones.
Dinosaur bones. Allegedly.
Allegedly? No. No.
The way I love how you agreed, and then you were like, wait a minute.
I thought you were, like, going to say, like... Instead of having, like, scales, they had feathers.
Feathers.
But no, you were just like, nope, dinosaurs don't exist.
I never said they don't exist. I just said allegedly.
Oh. But no, I firmly believe they don't exist.
Yeah. I think it was definitely like a misunderstanding along the ways. And I think it's also like from like hearing all this from a standpoint of human beings wanting that hope of like a creature that's just nice for being nice and doesn't really require anything like in return. I think that the idea of believing in that is quite nice because we don't have that really. Most of the stuff is to hurt.
Yeah.
Even our gods are kind of like horrible to us. Like we just get punished for like the smallest things sometimes. And like the virgin thing's weird though.
That's
very weird.
Yeah.
That part, I don't know what's going on there.
I guess because they're seen as pure creatures and when virgins are seen
Wouldn't
as
that
pure...
mean they love just babies though? Because babies are like, you could be a virgin and be the most awful person in the world and be like, but babies are like very innocent. They've done nothing. So wouldn't they be like similar purity, a baby, rather than like virgin.
But they're also of fertility, so maybe it's more like just checking in, maybe.
Again, wouldn't they also be like really into people who are wanting to have children but can't? And they'll be like, here's some fertility for you.
Not unless they've been getting busy, then otherwise you're sinners. You have sex once for a child and that's it. That's it.
That's it. Once. Did the one job.
You want to go to hell? You just have sex for babies, Tash. Everybody knows
You just don't have sex. Anyway.
As the Lord willed.
I think I've learned that they're way cooler than I thought before.
Yeah. I would agree on that. I can see where the bronies are coming from.
Well, no. No. I'm talking about like the Keelan, the Queen.
The Kirin.
The current one is the pretty one.
Oh yeah, the Keelan, the one with the Q.
Yeah, the Chinese one is like pretty cool. It's pretty sick, actually. If they should have more of that stuff in media. Again, like I feel like doing this podcast, most of the stuff we say, I feel like at the end of it, we're like, we need more of this in media because, like, like it's just not unless we're just not finding it. But
because we always get like the Western,
yeah,
where it's just like the unicorn, but it's like. Although the Killin, they had made the Disney movie.
The Disney one. But
I think it's called like
one.
Shang-Chi.
Ah, my God, I forgot that was like. You know what? That film is like very underrated.
I think it's because it came out. It came out after the hype of Endgame.
It did come out kind of late.
I think it's people are looking for like the Endgame Infinity War, but you have to build it up. You have to build up again. You're starting from.
You do, but I think because like
they've also been just throwing stuff together.
Yeah, it was just a lot coming out at the same time, so it kind of just felt like
background noise.
Yeah. But yeah, oh, that's cool. They did have it, but I feel like they need one where it's just the focus is just that, rather than it being like something that just kind of appears and then goes off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
But yeah, anyway,
where's the main focus? But yeah, thank you for listening to our podcast. Feel free to look back at our old ones at the Mermaids and Vampire podcast. We release an episode every 2 weeks, so we'll see you then.